Hind Aspirants. My name is Nishant Gadhvi, and today we are going to talk about if the Third World War happens, what will be the most possible reasons behind. And so today we are talking about this topic, and there is a need to talk about this topic because recently China ordered its army to prepare for war amid clashes between USA and China at South China Sea. This intensified the debates about whether the World War III is going to happen or not. Let's analyze the scope of major issues that have the probability of causing the World War III. And we'll also see some reasons or some of the topics that can be most responsible for the World War III. The first reason is natural resources. Wars and the natural resources have a long common history. There are many wars fought in the world due to the natural resources, and it cannot be ruled out that they cause World War III. Oil, water, land, and minerals can cause wars in the future. There are many territorial disputes between different among different countries of the world at different parts of the world, which have the territorial disputes among them. For example, Kashmir is a big issue between India and Pakistan. Gem Shoal is also a very cause of conflict between China and Malaysia. These territorial disputes have the potential to cause a war, and the allies of both the countries may side of them, which may lead to another world war. Seas or oceans are also causing conflicts among the countries. For example, several states are in conflict or is fighting to keep the South China Sea as international waters. USA is conducting freedom of navigation operations in South China Sea, which is causing tensions between China and USA. China recently ordered its army to prepare for the war against the USA amid the South China Sea conflict. Developing countries among themselves for the minerals and the metals in the underdeveloped countries. Though non-colonialism then try to get hold of the metals and materials of the underdeveloped countries. Oil is one of the major issues among the nations. There are several conflicts regarding the oil. For example, recently Iran threatened to cut off its entire oil supply with the USA amid its sanctions to the Iran regarding the nuclear deal. Political reasons. Until recently, tensions between USA and North Korea was a cause of concern because both the nations threatened each other regarding the reserve of the nuclear weapons. Political issues may easily cause a war. At present, there are conflicts among the two of the biggest powers in the world, China and USA. Trade wars and conflicts at the South China Sea may escalate into a war. Alliance among countries are on the rise, creating the multipolar world. World War II has proved that multipolar world is at the threat of the world war. Issues like Russia-Ukraine issue or Israel-Palestine issue can also be turned into a war because both the sides are supported by the different countries or the different allies of the world, and hence the war can become the another world war. So big powers of the world is increasing their military capacity and are investing more and more on the nuclear weapons. So that the war can break out, and it can be turned into a world war. The last reason is terrorism. One of the main causes of the terrorism is perceived negligence of some communities. This is a big threat to the world as it has the potential to cause a world war. But in this war, ideally, all the nations will be united in the fight against the terrorism and the terrorist elements. In other perspective, we see some countries are blaming some other countries of funding the terrorist activities. For example, recently Donald Trump blamed or accused Pakistan and Afghanistan for funding and supporting the terrorism, whereas other countries are accusing USA for funding the terrorist activities. This kind of blame games can also lead to a war among the nations. Now, the conclusion of our discussion is, on one side, there are people who are working towards the establishment of the peace in the world. On the other side, there are some leaders creating the conflicts among the countries in the shade of their powers. If World War III happens, the entire human race may be wiped out because of the technological advanced weapons and the nuclear arms. To avoid this from happening, all the nations should come together and do a negotiation and keep a mutual understanding between them. There is a need of some diplomatic leaders in the world, like our Sri Narendra Modi, Prime Minister of India. If the third world war happens, the lack of diplomatic leaders will be the possible reasons behind it. So we can do a simple thing to not spread the hate between the different communities, between the religions or different the caste systems or to other countries. We should not spread hate on the different social media and OTT platforms on or regarding the different countries. So I will end my speech with this. Thank you very much.